All right, Coach Frye, 2017 season is finally here, and I know that the entire team has to be excited. This is the reason that you train. This is the reason you're in the weight room. This is the reason you're in the office and study hall and everything else is to finally get out there and compete against other teams. So with the first meet of the season coming up this Saturday, how excited are you, and how excited is your entire program for
Well,
this
I'm
moment?
always excited. Every year is a great year when you're undefeated. But it's later on in the season you get the idea of what kind of efforts you've been putting forth in your practices, and it seems like we put in a great effort, but we get a result. So our whole season is about the effort, and if they put forth a great effort, then we're going to have a great season.
What is it that you like about your team this year? Whether it's a specific group or specific student athletes or just an overall mindset. I know at the beginning of the season, coaches always have a lot of things that they see as positives. And so what are those things that, as you finally wait to finally compete, that you really like about your program?
The returners. Kids who've been with us a long time, who've done well in the classroom, been good citizens, and all the things you ask of them to be: good in the community, doing community service, good in making grades, and now and they last year we turned out a large group of kids that were All-Americans, that were non-scoring All-Americans, and that's getting out to Oregon, and that's the goal this year, was to take those kids which have come up through the process, because we. Ours is a development athletes program. We are a 3-star coach 'em up. Lots of programs are inheritor programs. You get 5 stars and you replace them with 5 stars and you end up with the result. I think ours has always been develop those that we couldn't beat some of the better schools, some of the schools in the country that are in the top 5 all the time, and so I see the result of our development. I like to think our stronger group is a development. Josh and Ben and Eric, the throw boys, the JEB. And so I think that those are weightlifting guys, and most of that stuff happens in the weight room. When you think about Josh, was a kid that came, he's a 58-foot shot putter that's thrown 66 feet. And so we just thrilled to death to have a guy back like that, who worked his way to that level. And then the same thing that goes with Mike in the triple jump. And we feel like a kid that's a transfer in as a 50-footer, 51-foot, and we think he's in the 54-foot range now. So those are athletes that came and developed. And so we're thrilled to death with I'd love to get the kid that came out of high school at 52.5 or something and get a foot on him. But it's great when you get a 50-footer gets to be a 54, or a 59 that gets to be a 66. Those are things that just tell you to feel good about the process, staying in the process. And so those are the things I feel best about our kids, is they stay with the process. And this is a year to get results. When I look at our women's team, our 4x4, injury-riddled high school kids that went through our trainers and went through our weight room, and they end up one of the contenders, I feel, for SEC championship. Last year we got second in the women's 4x4. Well, those 4 women, 3 of those 4 are back, and adding on Brianna Haith, a mature senior, who's probably our best kid last year, who was out for the conference and the nationals meet, adds her on. And so maturity and belief in the system, kids that's showing everyone that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work. I mean, that's what we do. But if you got great talent and you work as hard, it's going to be hard to beat. And we got great talent, just it was nurtured. We had to nurture it up.
The Coaches Association put out their top 25 polls a couple days back. You guys will open the indoor season, preseason, number 22 on the men's side, number 24 on the women's side. First time that both programs have been ranked simultaneously in several years. So what does that say about how far your program has come in the last couple years? But then also, how do you compete during the season to make sure that you not only meet those expectations but also exceed them at the national meet?
Rankings matter on as you say, on the last play. That's when rankings count. During the year, they're good for training, but you keep your eyes on the last play. We got to prepare for Oregon, And that's what our kids, our focus is going to be. Prepare for Oregon every time you're lining up, and then don't forget the day to day, the week to week contests are preparations for Oregon. If you don't do well in this meet, it doesn't eliminate you, but each time what you're doing is trying to advance to a regional meet or trying to advance to an NCAA championship. Trying to qualify, the conference meet gets you in a position to qualify for the NC2A. All our meets we have are high-level track meets. They're high-level practices. They're high-level preparation. So we learn. There are things you learn in high, tough contests. You learn about yourself. And so some of the times we're going to get some bumps and bruises so that we can learn. But the ultimate goal is our kids understand, do better than what we did last year at the NCAA championship as a group. And that's so we love the rankings. They're good for others to read, but our ranking will be the last weekend in the middle of the weekend in June.
Let's talk specifically about this weekend. You've got the Clemson Invitational coming up, first of, I believe it's 6 or 7 consecutive weeks that you guys will compete indoors. I've heard you mention, especially some of these early meets, that in some ways that the meets are extra training sessions in a lot of ways. So specifically this weekend at Clemson, what do you hope that the athletes that you're sending upstate will get out of the meet?
I get a lot out of this meet. It's going to be a great weekend. We're going to be there in the midst of a parade. The meet's been delayed. So there'll be a lot of atmosphere on campus in orange and purple. It gives you that anxiety you get. Our kids is competitive anytime you see the orange. But when you have a weekend when they have special celebration for their athletes, as they should, it'll be an anxiety contest, anxiety atmosphere. Even though people won't come to the track meet that are there for the participant, just the atmosphere there. It's why we go to the pin relays. It's for atmosphere of anxiety at level. How do you compete in an atmosphere where things are difficult, not in your way? How do you call on your adrenaline? How do you fire up? How do you show up and show out? And I think this is just excitement. It adds to this great practice. So I look forward to putting our kids in early the first track meet, being in a hostile environment at the rival university with probably the biggest group of persons around that campus that we have gone on a campus where that existed. And so I'm thrilled to death to get in there and see someone's going to step above the level, and someone is going to really going to bomb. And they're going to learn something. That's a process. Getting in that environment early tells the athletes something about themselves. Being there at Clemson with all of that atmosphere going on, then we're going to find out that somebody's special. And I'm looking forward to seeing maybe there's many of them are special. Maybe many of them get that adrenaline flow, that rush for defend the Gamecock Nation, something special that they take it individually inside of them, that, hey, they didn't beat me. And that's what you find out about athletes in this environment.
Should be a lot of fun. Coach, best of luck, and we'll talk to you next week.
I appreciate it, man.